start, I want to make it clear that these are my opinions. As somebody that has been playing the game for a while, this is more catered to players that have obviously played for a while versus newer players, because newer players still have a good chunk of content to get through before they reach the point that I'm currently at. So, what I want to talk about is the lack of content, the lack of motivation and stuff to do to keep you on the game other than daily just log in, claim stuff, and then log off. Because occasionally we get events. Well, what's the events? Well, the events are you clear some stages. After you clear them all, which they're not hard, you're gonna click on it, and then you're gonna use your stamina to skip so you can get the rewards and claim the rewards. Okay, so what else is there to do? Well, at the start of the week, they just came out with Battle Rally, which, don't get me wrong, I love Battle Rally, but you're gonna complete that in a day. You're gonna complete that fairly quickly, especially if you have a decent amount of sync pairs. Well, okay, what about the Champion Stadium? That resets every week. Well, you end up being able to complete that quickly, very quickly, even at 3K Master Mode. So pretty much, it's Monday. Say it's Monday. Well, what about Tuesday? Well, Tuesday, we log in, we claim all of our stuff, do the daily stuff we gotta do, and then what is there? Well, you can't do the Battle Rally again. You've already completed that. Well, you can go to the Champion Stadium. I mean, you've already completed and got all the rewards from that. So you can redo them and play around with different sync pairs. But if you've kind of already played around with what you got, there's not really any motivation to keep doing that. And as far as the event, if you haven't got all the rewards, you're just gonna click skip, use your tickets, and get your rewards. Now, yeah, they do have the psychic type masks, like events and stuff like that, the high score events, but those are not often. I mean, I appreciate when we get them, but they're not often at all. And then, yeah, we have the ultimate battles, which, don't get me wrong, I love the ultimate battles. But it's not necessarily that they're difficult. It's instead more of, do you have the specific sync pair to complete it? Like if you look at the Annabelle fight, which was the first one they released. Well, what are the requirements to finish the stage? Well, for one, you have to have a sync pair that's going to be able to constantly debuff Entei. Because if he doesn't, his fluid fortification will activate and you won't do any damage. Okay, so I have to use Greninja. I have no choice. Well, you're going to want to you have to constantly have Rain up, or you're going to take too much damage. So I have to use Tapu Fini, but she's my only support that has Rain Dance. I don't have Chris and Suicune. Okay, well, I don't think 2 Rain Dances is going to be enough, because every time Entei sinks, he sets up Sun. Meaning, the 2 Rain Dances aren't going to be enough, and on the grid, there's no way to have an MP refresh, so I have to have Swampert to make up for the amount of rain dances because, yeah, he has a refresh, but he doesn't have the 2 refreshes. Instead, he just has the 1. So, if I wanted to use any other water type sync pair, well, I can't. Because, number one, I have to have Tapu Fini as my support. Specifically, like I said, for the rain dance. I can't use Suicune or Volcanion because I have to have Greninja to debuff. Okay, what about Swampert? Well, no, I also need more rain. So I'm limited to these 3 specific sync pairs to finish this stage. Like I said, it's not that it's the difficulty, it's the restrictions on what I can use to complete that stage and enjoy it. Same thing with the Daring Wings. Which this one did a lot better. Because you do have a little bit of an option, but you have to have somebody with Stealth Rock. You have to have Stealth Rock up. Which is nowhere near as bad. But you still are extremely restricted with what sync pairs you can specifically use to finish the stage. So, instead of you having replayability with the ultimate battles, you end up having only one team out of your sync pairs that can actually beat the stage. And any kind of experimentation with other ones that aren't the ones that show up in the suggested teams. Because obviously these teams will work, but if you don't have these other sync pairs, it's not going to work. I don't have Hop. I have Red, but I don't have Ash or Zapdos. Okay. I have Rosa. That's the team I used. But you go through here. Okay. I don't have that Irida. I do have that Red. And I do have that Chase. But these two, without Irida, it's not going to work. You have to have Irida in that case. So you're stuck with very specific sync pairs that you have to use to complete these. And I understand that this is fighting type, but Ray shouldn't be the only one to be able to finish this stage or even have close to finishing the stage. And this one right here is probably my most disliked ultimate battle. Where the other ones you have time to frickin' beat the stage. This one is all about you have up until that max move, which is 1 sync cycle. And then you're out. And I understand the whole idea behind it, but it limits the sync pairs that can be used to complete the stage, which limits its replayability because you don't want to keep doing the same ultimate battle using the same sync pairs after you've beaten it. So you're left with on the days nothing new comes out, just doing your daily login and all your daily tasks, and then there's nothing else to do. Which is a major issue, because
welcome.
In my case, and in many others' case, they have a lot of sync pairs that they'd love to use. They'd love to build teams with and try out and do stuff with. But the only way you're going to end up doing that is the Champion Stadium. And you're not gaining anything from it. And I'm not talking about gems either. Like, there's no incentive to continue, like, to keep doing it other than the first time you've done it. Like, if you do YouTube, yeah, that's content, but that's all that is. YouTube content. So, they really need, with considering how much they are gaining, the amount of content they're giving out is nowhere near the same as what they're getting. Because a single scout, a single multi-scout is roughly $30. And if you have to go to pity, that's going to cost you like hundreds if you're trying to get multiple sync pairs and you don't have the gems saved up. Which is more free-to-play players run into. So, like, you spend all this money on these sync pairs just for most of the week, or the majority of the time, you're not playing the game. There's nothing to do on the game. And like I said, the freaking high score events are cool. Let me think, what were some of the other ones? I think it's just the high score event. Because the time trials, they're not really anything. So there's not really any kind of motivation. Other than you daily coming in. Like, it feels more of... And I understand it's a gacha game. I fully understand that. But it feels more of I'm collecting these so I can be like, ooh, I have these sync pairs, these mons. Instead of a game where I can spend the money, get the sync pair, and then be able to enjoy using them. But that's just how I feel. I feel there's nowhere near enough content in the game because they've done nothing with the story mode. No, there's no new additions on that. I don't know the last time we got a Legendary Arena new one. That's not getting updated. The Battle Villa, that's resettable. But doing this a couple thousand times just to collect the little bit of cookies, which that's really all that's for, is farming cookies. There's really nothing to do. There's got to be something that they can add to make the playability of this game way longer than what it is. Because the days where no new content comes out, other than logging in, there's no reason. And considering 2 scouts is the price of a full game, pretty much. That's just 2 multi-scouts. Then there should be a lot more content being given than what we are getting. Because there are a lot of other mobile games out there that even if there's no events going on, there's something to keep you in the game. To keep you playing the game. But let me know what you think. If you feel the same way. Like I said, this is more for people that have already completed all the story stuff, all the Legendary Arenas, and are just stuck doing the events and the little small things they give out at random times. Because we end up getting the majority of the week with nothing other than just collecting dailies. But comment below, let me know what you think.